All right. Peace to the fam. Peace to the fam. Yeah, I had to do it like that. I had to run down on it. Had to run down on the family real quick. It is awesome. Yeah. Peace. New, old, potentially inappropriate messages. Alright, Madison in the building. Alright, so we got a few people on the second. Alright, so where did we leave off yesterday? Where did we leave off yesterday? All right, so we got a little bit of family in the building. All right, so we got 24 people watching and only 5 thumbs up. Y'all know the rule. Please give me a thumbs up. Or, if you're a hater, that's cool. You don't have to give me a thumbs up. I know the haters watch. You know what's funny about the internet trolls and the social media? They watch all your material. So it's just like a weird kind of love. Oh, no, not IG. Y'all good. It's only for the YouTube. I got it on YouTube live too. So, but on YouTube, if you press the thumb up, like if you click thumb up on the YouTube, other people can see it and then they know, oh, okay, it's a live video and they're coming. Good looking. My brother Amun from ATL checking in with 4 thumbs up for the God. Right? So I know yesterday we kind of blew through the hour and we didn't we didn't really get to hit no like questions, which I kind of wanted to get. I got a few questions, but I didn't really get much questions on hormone health, etc. Right? So I figured today we'll get some questions in early if there is any. Right? If not, we can go. Now this is kind of a jump, because I was like, actually I didn't even plan on doing this today, right? But I had the conversation created by yesterday's class. I had some ideas that I just wanted to jot down before I forgot, and so I kind of just threw those up there so I could get to them. I'm just not into supporting social media. This is my only platform besides Google that's a default. Okay. You here with me, so I appreciate it. What are some of the most common estrogen minimal fruits? What I would say for that is because sometimes I give homework, right? So I'm not, I'm more into helping folks fish, like fish training. But some questions are really good for growth of everybody. But what I would say for that is just do a quick Google on male fruits and female fruits. anabolic fruits versus catabolic fruits, right? You can go to my website, 40dayfruitfast.com, and in the if you type in how to do the mucous membrane fast, or just type in mucous membrane fast in the search, it'll take you to that blog. And on that blog has my estrogen fast. The estrogen fast has been kind of like going platinum. Although a lot of people use it, you know, I rarely hear this is Enqi's estrogen fast when people are using it. So, you know, I'd like to hear more of that. You know, but it's gone platinum. And, you know, so you can get that info there. What up? The age you find black males and females hormones stop dropping, and what drops first? Good question. Anywhere between, it used to be like 40, 50, like between, like around 40 was that number. That number is now dropped dramatically to 20s, you know, and like 30, 31, 32. So like right in the mid 20s to the early 30s now is where people are having that hormone decline. In fact, women, let me speak for the men, that's more of a male schedule. Women's thing is completely different. But now it's like we've synced, traditionally I should say, women's timeline and men's timeline have been different. Now it's like we've synchronized into this degenerative pattern where, I don't know, it's just crazy right now. But definitely late 20s, early 30s to be exact. Just as much men you see complaining about, well, you don't see them really complaining because they try to hide it. It turns TV off. Women are having technical issues as well. Oh, let me get this light too. Women are having technical issues as well. Right? So women are having some technical issues as well. They're not getting as wet. And we kind of went over that. I got a video up. It's like 3 hours. We did it in Whole Food. Big up Asa. We did it in Whole Food Detroit. And I went into that in detail. So it's kind of a lot to go into, but you can just pull up that video real quick, go in. But yeah, so women are having issues with getting the clitoris engorged or erect, getting wet, having orgasm, and they're putting those issues on the men, right? And most of those issues are internal issues. Most of those are, do you still provide body diagnostic tests in your consultation? To be honest, I don't even do consultations anymore. And that's just was a time-wise thing. You know, consultations are good for money, but I just don't have the time to do them. So I've been doing consultations via text messages for free this whole year. You know, just giving back to the community, just giving back to the people. So, you know, the last, I would say maybe month or so, maybe month and a half, 2 months, maybe, I've been kind of disconnected because I've been trying to, you know, not trying to, I've been forced to put a lot of my time and energy into working offline. Me and my brothers, we just opened a restaurant, gym, music studio, video studio, photography studio, and we got programs running with the children, and we're trying to create some educational initiatives for the children to get them to experience some stuff early, and just, you know, doing all this shit with my own money, not donations, that people say that they're working towards doing. You know, I'm actually still doing all those things, right? Giving away money, giving away, you know, just forget about it. You know, community work through the roof. Like this is just how my father raised me. So before any sort of communities or fraternities or whatever, that's just how I was raised by my father. What you put out is what you get back. So if you're looking to get love, you give out love. If you're looking to get respect, you give respect. If you're looking to get money, you give money. Like just, it's super simple principles. But anyway, so yeah, y'all have me all over the place. Long time student with you since Barnes and Noble. You mean Black and Nobel? What can be done to prevent estrogen from attaching to breast tissue in men, causing gyno? Well, the thing with gyno is it's more than just estrogen attaching to breast tissue, right? So before that can happen, you have the estrogen dominance, right? Which we talked a lot about in the first video. So that's the first thing you want to correct, is reducing the amount of estrogen-based foods you're consuming, the xenoestrogens that you allow your body to come into contact with, and then trying to change the internal ratios, right? And what I mean by that is, that's one of the things. See, this is why there's no detox. There's no detox ever put together. I don't care who you name. There's no detox ever put together as complete as our 21-day detox, and it's supposed to be done every month because it addresses these issues. The major pieces to it is mitochondrial function, hormone balance, flushing xenoestrogens out of the system, making sure you have the right components to rebuild in your body, the enzymes, etc., necessary to keep the cells free. Structured water is the key, right? But even structured water, you have to get in a certain quality of, certain quantity and quality of hydrogen. It's just a lot of different things, but understanding that piece, this is why I spent so much time on water. Maybe it's because my name is Enqi, right? If you know what that means. And you got a lot of guys. One of them is Batman G, something like that, right? I know I'm killing his name, but he goes in and he doesn't really understand the mechanism, but he goes in on how water, with his clients, he's been able to treat some even untreatable things. And the reason is simple, just understanding how living water cleans itself. So you have that process in the body for the cells to be able to purge themselves of anything unuseful, and then for the body to follow that process, right? So this is why kind of yesterday we were touching on how one thing affects everything, how one illness affects every illness, etc. You still recommend screwing in? Of course, man. Speak on enzymes like serrapeptase, using it for pain, inflammation, loss of smell. Yup. Well, the idea is, so enzyme therapy is cool short term, but you want to consume, you want to have the lifestyle where your body has what it needs to produce the enzymes on its own. So enzyme therapy is good short term. I definitely suggest it. Even if that's going to like GNC or the vitamin shop. And then there's another level to enzyme therapy, like pie and mangoes. For people who can tolerate them, pineapples and some other stuff that you can use, natural short-term enzyme therapies. But the key is, like I say, you guys got to watch what's the name of the video? Antioxidants. How do antioxidants work? Something like that. I think I did a video, but it was talking about the detox, but in terms of antioxidants and oxidation. Right? But anyway, so what I want to get back to, hopefully we got some preliminary info. The Q&A gets a little difficult when we're not in a structured class, because then y'all know I'm already like a segue master. I'll be all over the place. Right? All I need is a little bit of encouragement from you guys. And so people be angry with me in the comments. They're like, Minister, you never finish a line of discussion. Because I'm trying to talk to everybody. Right? But so cleansing the body of all of the chemicals, still with you. Cleansing the body of all of the xenoestrogens, lowering the estrogen intake, right? Making sure now, anybody that follows us, you already have eliminated beer, milk, and bread for the most part from your diet, right? I know some of y'all like, yeah, no, I definitely got rid of the beer and the milk. However, bread's hanging around. All right, if bread's hanging around, just get the best quality bread you can find and move on with your life. Because bread alone is not going to kill you. It's combined up with the milk products and the beer and the deodorants and the hairsprays and the blunt wraps, right? Then the weed on top of the blunt wrap, right? Because marijuana itself is an estrogenic. So like if you smoke weed every day and drink beer, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And a lot of us do that as a casual part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? We have a variety of different cultures that we step in and step out. We don't realize culture is just repeated, ritualistic behavior, right? And we have a group of people with similar ritualistic behavior. That is a culture. So the people that blow everything, the culture, people that drink and blow trees everything, like that's a culture, right? So people that blow trees, beer, bread, like that's a very, very high. And so my thing is identify what's going on and then figure out what you need to do to balance it. So if we're on a regular detox, right, and then on the flip side, we get into phytoandrogens. Now, in the anabolic hormone, do I have it here? All right, so here's the anabolic support hormone health, right? Anabolic support hormone health, right? The precursor to this formula was on 40-day fruit, is on 40dayfruitfast.com. It's called the Godhead compound. It's very good. We had a lot of great success over the years with it, but that is the next step in evolution. The anabolic hormone health. That you can't get on 40-day fruit fast. You can only get that on onetone.earth, right? But there I have combined all of the world's most anabolic, androgenic plants with the world's most androgenic non-human substance, right? Which are pollens, right? So people allergic to pollens, until you get that allergy under control, can't use the anabolic hormone help or the Godhead, right? But for the rest of us, bar none, that's going to be, because we have to understand, and I know a lot of people don't, right? That's what makes me unique with this thing. But we have to understand how complex life formed, right? It came in waves and layers. And previous to our beautiful, eloquent system of distribution that we have throughout the various cellular systems in our body. We use shu, God's shu, right? The God's shu, the wind, right? Shu carry fertility all over to the animals that existed, the smaller animals, the oceans, the small plants everywhere, and it came from mostly the evergreen trees. Now, we already talked about the evergreen trees being evergreen because of their high concentration in what I call the comedic elements, right? Ray, Usia, Tar, like, you know, if you've been followed, you've seen the videos, right? But if not, those are your transition elements. And your transition elements, what makes them special is their ability to concentrate high amounts of hydrogen in them. And so evergreen trees stay green all year round because they have high amounts of hydrogen in them, which gives them it's like anabolic, like they just build and grow nonstop, to where you see the top of the evergreen trees grow like, it just looks crazy. And they live for hundreds of years, some of them even thousands of years, right? But they share a magical substance with the world, which is the pollen. And they release the pollen, and the pollen, the wind carries it. The wind carries it to other trees, but every single walk of life uses pollen to grow, right? And that is the precursor to our anabolic hormones that we produce ourselves, and we have a mean built-in distribution system inside our body for it. And then for us to, you know, share our seeds, etc., male, female. But that didn't exist before. The wind carried it around, it landed in the dirt, it landed on the water, and all the fish, the water creatures, they chewed it up. Plants sucked it down through the soil. The small animals, they ate it via the plants and off the soil, and I breathed it in, etc., Same way we do in the summer, but we're getting so like zoo-like. Like we're becoming like the zoo animals, so crazy that a lot of people are now becoming like allergic to pollen, right? That is super anti-life right there. That is a very scary thing. These are all very scary things if you understand what these things really mean. Like diabetes is a scary thing for me, you know, and it's scary to a lot of people, but not from my angle, right? It's scary to me because I understand what the inability to process carbs is, science-wise. Like when your body starts to develop, because that's almost what diabetes is in a way. It's like being allergic to a large extent to carbohydrates, because your body is losing the ability to process them and get nutrition from them. So carbohydrates function like almost like a toxin in some people. That's crazy. It's like you're becoming alien to life, right? A lot of people, you know, dark as ever, darker than me, dark as or darker. They go out in the sun, they can't take it. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. I'm you know, you're becoming anti-life, and what that means is internally, yeast, fungus, and all kinds of other little nasty guys that probably haven't even been identified yet are terraforming your body, and they're changing the inside of your body. They're changing your biochemistry to something else, right? Very fungus-like. And so that's what we up against. But I had a very interesting question. Oh, now before I get to that, because I just wanted to put, all right, so you have As I mentioned it yesterday, alright, so I mentioned, we're talking a lot about reproduction and whatever, guys stuff not working and whatever. So your reproductive cells, those are going to be your germ cells, right? So like your sperm cell, this is a germ cell, right? What you guys don't understand is, right, this is more of a carrier, right? So the way you take care of the body and the relationship between somatic cells, which are basically all the cells in your body that are not germ cells, right? But the way you take care of your body determines the quality. So the quality of somatic cells determines the quality of your germ cells, right? And so where we saw that in the Bible with the sins of the father will be revisited on the child 7 generations deep. Now the new science is epigenetics, right? Same philosophy, different sort of just couched, same ideology, same science, just couched in a different type of language, different lingo. But this is where you have the chance to control your health, your progeny's health, etc. Now, here's the biggest problem now we're facing, cellular-wise, right? We're having all kinds of mitochondrial problems. And this is where people have been having so much success with the Momatomics, right? The Momatomics and the detox. But we're having a lot of mitochondria issues. A lot of them tied to, again, food metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, carbon metabolism. Even it is backwards on here. I know, that's crazy. So you guys on IG gotta just listen. If you want to read the chalkboard or whatever the case may be, it shows up straight on YouTube. So I don't know if y'all want to maybe shut off your IG and go onto the YouTube live where you can see it, like the right way or whatever the case may be. It's cool for me, right? I'm into quality, not quantity. So it's I have only 5 people on. I know those 5 people are strong. Those are influencers, right? That's the craziest thing about me. The masses of the people, right? They, at least in this community anyway, the health, and when I don't mean conscious, I mean the health. Like, you guys would be surprised how far my reach is. You guys think it may stop like in the conscious community. That's not true. Like European scientists, doctors, school teachers, like they study, then they go teach it. You know what I'm saying? They charge $1 zillion for what I teach you niggas for free. But I will say for the real nasty upper echelon stuff, like if you really want to be nasty with this, livingbiochemistry.com. You know what I'm saying? It's an 18-month class, but it's a lifetime bond and learning experience because you're locked in, you have access to the information forever. And if you understand how the course is set up, the course goes on forever and new information is constantly being compiled. So we're doing some amazing things in there. But like I said, so what was that? Oh, mitochondria issues, right? And carbohydrate metabolism, right? This is literally like our tie to the sun and the planet in a way, because we rely on plants, right, to basically capture solar energy. Right? Capture not only solar energy, but capture the solar energy using high-powered gas, high-powered gases, right? What are the high-powered gases for your biology? Nitrogen, oxygen, and what else? hydrogen, right? Those are the stars of the show, right? And so plants capture solar energy through those three particular gases. It's more, but those are the main three gases it uses, and it ties them up and binds them and crystallizes them with carbon, right? So when we metabolize food, what we're basically doing is like a child unwrapping gifts. And it's almost like, the best analogy I could give you guys is like the Russian doll thing, but not with Russian dolls, like with just a bunch of presents. Like the traditional cartoon Christmas gift present. Like it's a box with the lid on it, and then you got like the 4 ribbons, you know what I'm saying? Or like 2 ribbons tied at the top, whatever. And then you open that big one, you know, you unwrap it and open it, and then there's another box in there. You unwrap it, open it, another box, another box. That's what we do, metabolizing food. Only thing is, we're not taking off ribbons. What we're doing is we're unpacking, we're unwrapping carbon, right? We're unwrapping the carbon, and that's why we breathe out carbon dioxide, right? So we're unwrapping the carbon. Now here's the thing. There's 2 sides to the issue, right? Because as we have a problem with metabolizing carbohydrates, we're also inefficiently producing CO2 or carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, your body is the master of efficiency, right? Carbon dioxide is the main cleaner in terms of making sure that you don't get a lot of sugars binded to your proteins, which is one of the key markers for like diabetics. You know, your A1C count goes through the roof. You got all that advanced glycation. So now they're linking that even to other things with terms of aging, and you know, so they use the acronym advanced glycation end products. You know, all of these different things. But that, if we go back thousands of years, that was part of the science of breathing, right? So you inhale, then you inhale the oxygen, but the process of exhaling was just as important because it's a part of cleaning and maintaining healthy blood structure, right? So that whole process is getting, you know, so we have to start looking at things as a whole. So you got, and then mitochondria is the end game. That's the end point, right? Once we unwrap all the carbon, then we are really comes down to electrons, and you know, really it comes down to electrons. And then if it comes down to electrons, then we are basically in 3rd or 4th grade science class, right? You get a bunch of electrons moving in one direction, right? You have electricity. If you have electricity, you have what? Radiation and magnetic field at the same time. So that's what it really comes down to. So we understand the body's electric, right? But we haven't really tapped into the fact that the body's magnetic. We haven't really tapped into that, but we can't say the body is electric without saying that. Anyway, so you have your 4 cytochromes, right? 4 cytochromes. Cytochrome is what? Cellular pigment, right? Chrome, pigment or color, right? Cyto, cellular, right? So you have the 4 cellular pigments that conduct the electrons, right? That produce all of the forms of energy your body uses. It's not just ATP. That's just the most gross, dense one that's, you know, visible with, you know, our archaic technology. But, you know, we still haven't got into light, magnetism, and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get into, right? Because I wrote my first book, and I was so hard in that book, that I had to start writing books to kind of break down the stuff that was in there. Because people were just like, what is this, right? So I went all the way backwards, broke it down to the Black Genetics series, then we went backwards, building it back up, with the Mind State series, and then really culminated everything into the Eat Right for Your Appetite. But so you got the 4 cellular pigments. The 5th one is slightly different because it's more of an enzyme, and it does a different job. But you have your cellular pigments. The first one, the key thing there is tyrosine, because tyrosine is acts as the outlet for cytochrome 1, and then with cytochrome 3 and 4, you have that iron copper thing going on. So that's that. But cytochrome 1, you get a lot of leakage, and if you get a lot of leakage, then you have internal oxidative stress happening in the cell from your electron transport chain, which gets crazy all in of itself, right? So my aunt, Ochun, just hit me up, said, I need my book. I got you, my aunt. So all of these issues that we're developing in our electron transport chain, the supporting function being able to break down, is causing problems in our somatic cells, right? Generate themselves, which is a part of autophagy. Autophagy happens during prime sleep, right? So you're going to start to see how these things link, how these things all link together, right? So some people talk about, they ask me, Minister, why you don't spend more time on mental illness? I do. You guys just still haven't caught up yet, right? Mental illness is based on neurochemistry. Neurochemistry is based on aromatic amino acids and the supporting nutrition for the uptake of those aromatic amino acids and the production of the hormones and all the other things that come out of those aromatic amino acids, right? So we don't have those. We're missing the base part of what's going to become our neurochemistry, or what should be our neurochemistry. A lot of us are dealing with adrenal fatigue because, again, a lot of us blow trees. Marijuana blows out your adrenal glands, especially when you're just blowing all the time. One of the signs that your adrenal glands are exhausted is paranoia. So sometimes you will blow some trees and you'll get paranoid or hypersensitive. That's letting you know that your adrenal glands they need some help, right? They're getting blown out. So, so you got that, your aromatic amino acids, then you have the synthetic light issue, right? Right now we're indulging in blue light toxicity right now so that we can communicate, share with each other. I got an iPhone and a MacBook in front of me going live, so we'd be on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. That affects the pituitary gland, and my students know the pituitary gland has a lot to do with growth hormone and all the anabolic hormones, hormone production. That in turn throws off hypothalamus function, which basically regulates metabolism, energy regulation throughout the body, right? So now we're back to mitochondria, etc. If the pituitary is not synchronizing with the rest of the body, or just not functioning properly, especially if we tie that to people not getting enough tryptophan in the diet, right? Then your pineal gland is going to have issues, right? So as you guys are running around talking this 12th dimension bullshit and worried about my pineal gland getting calcified or not, what you need to worry about, like in real time, is the conversion of serotonin to melatonin, which is what takes place in the pineal gland. Okay, that's the big deal, right? Conversion of serotonin to melatonin, and then that melatonin being sufficient enough to get you to sleep, where it's almost like the anesthesia for surgery. So, you know, your body produces anesthesia, knocks you out. Where does your body get the signal from that it's time to produce that anesthesia and knock you out, right? Where does the signal come from? It comes from the mitochondria. This is really like light body information. This is what was going on in chemistry. You only gonna get it from the minister, right? But so your adenosine triphosphate, adenosine is the carrier piece to this energy, like the energon cubes, like the Transformer days, right? So you have 3 phosphates attached to adenosine that makes up your ATP. In order for it to be usable, you need a magnesium also attached. So you have mag ATP or ATP mag, whatever the case may be. But as you use, the energy part is the phosphorus, right? Phosphorus, the light bearer, right? That's why phosphorus is used for energy, because it's light that your body needs, right? So, so we're gonna get real crazy with that as I go into the photon transport chain that KT and I discovered some months back. But as your body uses the energy, you go from adenosine triphosphate down diphosphate to, you know, adenosine phosphate, adenosine, and adenosine, right? Once your body can no longer recycle it, once you're no longer producing enough creatine and you no longer have enough selenium and the other key components that help your body recycle, you know, diphosphate back to triphosphate and keep that going. The adenosine itself, once you have a high amount of circulating adenosine, meaning your body can't recycle back to that ATP point, that adenosine, as a vasodilator, opens up the vessels, gets to the brain and says, hey, we're tapping out, you know, we need you to take over, Jesus take the wheel kind of vibe. We can't produce our own energy right now. So, you know, like the energy production is slower than the energy output, right? So then the body starts to get sleepy, right? But that's coming directly from your mitochondria. The body's getting sleepy. Now it's time to convert that serotonin, melatonin, put the body to sleep. Then that melatonin also goes directly to your mitochondria and signals autophagy. Now, autophagy is where it's another place where meat eaters might have a slight advantage over people jumping into plant-based diets without studying with Minister Enqi, right? Or somebody who's already studied with Minister Enqi. No, I'm just kidding. There's other people that have plenty of good information out there. But if you just jump into the plant-based lifestyle, you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to have the raw nutrients, because a lot of people, you still got, you know, I know one guy in particular, you still got a guy out there running around that people think is sharp, telling people that protein is fungus, right? Protein is fungus. And he's insane. He doesn't understand what he's saying to people, right? Because then you'd be saying melanin is fungus. You'd also be saying that hormones are fungus. You'd also be saying that, like, you get where I'm going with this thing. So, but you have to, the whole idea is you don't need the animal protein. What you need is the raw amino acids so that your body can formulate the enzymes or just the proteins in general that it needs, the peptides it needs, right? So a lot of times we don't have the raw material that our body uses during autophagy, which is basically the time period that your body is releasing all of the mechanic enzymes, the enzymes that's going to go in there repair all of the peptides and proteins that are wore out from being used throughout the day, right? Repair the fatty acid chains, etc., etc. So remember, the outer part of the cell, right, is the membrane, right, composed largely of fatty acids and proteins. Fatty acids and proteins, right? And remember, this is me prima facie. This is water uses fats. I've been saying this for probably 10 years now, right? But as science goes on and as more Europeans dig deeper and create clinical stuff, and people say, "Oh, Minister Enqi, you know what? This sounds like you. When I heard this doctor over here said this, that, and the other." Yeah, I gave you the simple version. I condensed the complex and made it simple for you. Water uses fatty acids, right, or oil, however you want to do it, because fatty acids or oil, fats, hold pigments, and pigments are able to hold light. So this is how water has created the interface, right? Where do carboxylic acids come from? So you have to really understand these terms before just throwing them around, because we're in the social media age. Everybody wants to just say things that sound like no one else said it before, or they want to go against the popular thought to just generate attention. But a lot of times, if you are scientifically literate, or you are just literate, period, you'll be able to scratch the surface a bit and see that they don't really know. They don't have any working context of what they're saying either. They're just banking on the fact that most of you guys don't know, right? So autophagy is very important. If we're not getting the proper sleep at night, now the proper sleep doesn't mean 9 hours at night. It just means you need to get as much sleep as your body needs to repair itself. And then also, you have to have the material, the raw nutrients in there so that your body can do what it needs to do. One of the other big pieces was glutathione, right? After your body uses glutathione up, similar to ATP, the glutathione with that adenosine, right, they travel to the brain. Spent glutathione travels to the brain, and that's what creates those deep levels of sleep. But most of us, if we have any health issues going on, we literally have probably zero glutathione, because most of us don't even have selenium, right? So because most of us are selenium deficient, and you can get the selenium 40dayfruitfast.com in a very awesome product called Cell 2O, or you can get all right, so I cannot find it. But it's something called, it's like spring, summer, selenium, something or other. It's on the onetone.herb side, right? So if you guys like the new labels and all the new flashy, that's all tones labeling, right? So onetone.herb. But you can get the selenium there. If you don't have the selenium, your body is not able to produce glutathione properly. And that's one of the big reasons that people have so much glutamate and glutamine problems in the body, because you don't have the selenium required to get those guys in check and to use them properly. So they just wind up in the body creating havoc on their own. But anyway, to use glutathione travels to the brain, and that's what puts us into the deep sleeps. That's what gets you into those different states of brainwave activity, right? Also, hopefully, because I do this all day, so forgive me if I repeat stuff, because I don't remember sometimes if I said something like yesterday, for instance, like I'm trying to remember stuff and I'm like, man, I don't remember if I said it to you guys on the video or if I said it to the live group, or if I was on the phone doing consultations via text message, 718-989-1955, right? I'm doing consultations there. So I'm just like, this is what I do 24/7. So sometimes I'll lose. But anyway, so if you don't have the glutathione, not only is your body using uric acid as an antioxidant, right? Urine, but you're not going to be able to get to those levels of sleep. So one of the major things people notice when they use the Mama Tonics regularly is amazing sleep. Like you can get amazing sleep on a bed of nails. But so all of these things work in conjunction to get you good sleep. Good sleep with good nutrition equals great cellular repair, right? Of course, the base and foundation of all biochemistry is water. Somebody slap me again? Black Rain Willis just slapped me. A crab named Enqi. AC, I'm watching you, buddy. A crab named Enqi. Yes, I'm definitely a Cancer, but no, I'm not a crab named Enqi. Just a crab named Tone. That's Tony. All right. But so anyway, so the whole process being thrown off, our cellular repair leads to us having broken down and, you know, degenerative germ cells, right? So once these cells lose the ability to repair themselves, you're going to have poor germ cell quality, right? So I want you guys to understand, especially the men, that these things are all separate. Don't think that just because you can get a hard on and have an ejaculation, that means that your reproductive system is healthy, right? Now, segueing real quick into what this stuff is. Now, here's the thing, and you guys can probably go back into before we get here, the bodybuilding God body, the comedic science of building God bodies series of videos. You can go back there and get some more detail on the relationship between external pigment, right, eumelanin, and testosterone and cellular function, specifically in the mitochondria, right? The faster they fire, usually, the deeper your pigmentation, and the more efficiently they fire, the deeper pigmentation. Your C-amp levels are completely different, and that leads to higher levels of fast twitch muscles, and fast twitch muscles, slow twitch muscles. Really, to be honest, like tissue-wise, they're the same. Just a higher capacity for electricity, and that is a threshold for how they function, which is why they categorize differently based on functionality. But when you just look at them, they're the same. Just like they're just underdeveloped slow twitch, so it just functions different. And so they offer different types of advantages, right? Slow twitch is going to give you more endurance. Fast twitch is going to give you more explosion. But the reason there's more explosion is because of the higher amount of electrical storage. Capacity is different. But because they get that explosion, boom, the energy is used like that. So it doesn't have, so the endurance is not there. Now, flip side, when the capacity is small, there's no explosion. Boom! So what happens is the energy is it's used, it dissipates slowly, which gives the illusion of endurance versus explosion. That's all it comes down to, right? However, now this is a big debate, right? So this is not something that we can even deal with like really quick, and there's a lot of different aspects to it. But intellectual prowess, right? Intellectual prowess. You got output and input. Now, why is intellectual prowess key to understanding? Well, not key, but a part of the hormone conversation, because you have anabolic hormones and catabolic hormones. Anabolic hormones do what in the body? Build structures up. Catabolic breaks them down. How do you build knowledge of a subject in terms of your neurochemistry, right? You build groups like pyramids in your mind, like literally, but not in your mind, but in your brain, right? Of brain cells coming together for a specific type of it. So, like, let's just say Chinese, right? We're almost. So Chinese, right? And Chinese is going to be the new Spanish. Okay, so I'm telling everybody, like I told y'all 8-9 years ago, start getting familiar with Chinese, even if you don't learn it. Like, just start just having it around and just play with it a little bit, so you start to build neural networks for Chinese. Anyway, or definitely, if you don't want to do it for your children, right? Get them some Chinese videos with English subtitles, English videos with Chinese subtitles. Like, just start. But anyway, so when you first see a thing, right? Like, if you've never seen Chinese or heard it before, when you're first exposed to it, you have no neural networks for it, right? You have no neural networks. So as you force yourself to pay attention to it, right? As you force yourself to pay attention to it, you start to build neural networks. That construction is rough. The more time you spend on it, right? All right, we got 2 minutes left. The more time you spend on it, the larger the neural network for that particular subject matter becomes. As the neural network gets larger, the difficulty in assimilating that information goes down. So as the size of the neural networks increases, difficulty with subject matter decreases until you reach mastery. Okay, till you reach mastery of that subject, right? Well, if we're talking about anything building up, man, I keep looking at the chalkboard like I got it written up there somewhere. Time to start erasing stuff. But so just imagine you see it up there somewhere. Just have it in your mind. So if we're talking about anything building up, then that's going to be what? That's an anabolic process, right? Now, it gets complicated because building is just as important, or destroying is just as important as building, right? Because you have to be able to move fluidly through things and reuse and recycle materials, et cetera, et cetera. So estrogen is important for the brain in certain capacities as well. But the intellectual prowess, right, is definitely tied to your hormone health. So it's not necessarily tied to how high your levels of anabolic hormones is. It's not exactly like that, right? So if that was the case, people would be taking steroids in the butt before a test, right? But that doesn't go like that. It's the balance. The balance is what's important, right? So, that's what we're striving for, right? In all things. So, I think we went out. We topped out about 150 viewers on IG. I think like 200. This is Mother's Day, so it's good. I'm glad you guys. Thank you for spending your time with me. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for hanging out. I'm about to get back to my Mother's Day, and we'll get back to this. I think I think I might do more than 3 pop-ups. Okay, just FYI. You might, the response is really good. You know what I'm saying? And hey, I'm spend most of my time in the gym and the cafe now, so that's why this blackboard is a part of the cafe. So the vegan classroom, right, might have to become a staple. Anyway, peace to the family. We'll dig in.